So my name's Martha Drucker, and I'm with the Engineering Services Division of Community Development. And we're here tonight to talk about the 2018 water replacement project and also the street paving, the annual street paving project. So to give you a little bit of how the night's going to go, we're going to talk, some of the staff, I'm going to give you a general overview of pretty much the water project and what's happening in the area. And then we're going to talk a little bit about traffic control, some changes around the neighborhood as we're doing this work. And then we're going to get into a brief overview of how the paving program will work. And then we're going to wrap up and turn it over to you. And if you have any questions or answers, or you want to come up to us after the meeting and look at individually on your property, we have the construction plans here. So whatever you want to do after, we'll be around. First off, if there's any kind of an emergency while we're here, please exit through these doors here on the side that bring you right out to the walkway down to Warren Street, and the restrooms are right around the corner here to the right. There's 2 sign-up sheets going around. It's real important that you sign up on the sign-up sheet and clearly write your email or phone number. What we use these for is throughout the project, typically on Friday mornings, we'll send out an update as to what is happening the next coming week. So every week you'll be notified of where we are in the project and what you can expect or any changes for the next week. I'm going to start off by doing a few introductions. Dave Welch, he's with engineering also, and Todd Welch. They'll be the engineers, inspectors on the project throughout the duration. They'll be there all day while the contract is working, and if you have any questions, their cards are up here. Before you leave, pick up a card. You'll be able to access them throughout the project. Also, Rob Mack. Rob Mack is a city traffic engineer. He's been working with the school district and staff and the contractor to go through the traffic plan in the area. So if you have any problems with traffic, he's the guy you want to call. I should have said that. But so we'll be working through that as the project goes. Fred Schaefer is with General Services. He'll be the inspector on the paving project. And Jim Major is our highway and utility superintendent. He'll be overseeing the paving program. Jeff Perry and Randy are with GMI Contractors. They'll be the contractor who will be doing the paving program. And Jim's going to go through the details of when they're going to start for that. In the back here, we have Steve Grenice. They're with N. Grenice and Sons. They'll be doing the water work with the city. We also have Matt Cashman with the school district. So thank you, Matt, for hosting the meeting here. We've been working with Matt and trying to work out any of the issues the school district had, both operational on a daily basis and emergency access while we're working in the neighborhood. David Cedarholm. David, if you want to stand up. David's the new city engineer. So he joined us at the end of February. So he'll be up to speed and working closely with staff on how smoothly this project goes. So he's available at any time if you have questions or concerns. And Jeff Holdley is the Public Works, the Deputy Public Works Director, and he'll be also working with staff and General Services on paving and any other work around the area. So with that, I'm going to start and just kind of give you an overview.
Okay, we lost your mic.
Oh. Here, I think it's back. It's back? There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So for the water work, there's 3 components to this work this summer. There's water work, new water mains being replaced on Warren, North Fruit, and Kensington Road. The gas company is replacing some of its mains in pretty much all the streets in yellow the gas company's working on. They've already completed their work on North Fruit Street. They're almost complete on Kensington Road, and then they're going to move to Rum Hill. So they're working ahead of us to get out of our way while we do this. For the water project, we're planning to start next week. the water project on Warren Street is the first street we're gonna work on. I don't know if this is gonna keep going out. Hello?
Built it up.
I could do that. So Warren Street, yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that. Warren Street is the first street we're gonna work on. So Warren Street goes from Liberty Street to the intersection of Fruit and Pleasant. We're gonna start next week, the contractor's gonna be mobilizing, starting to set things up. The street may not be totally closed next week, but probably definitely the week after. We're gonna be on Warren Street until May 4th. So pretty much the whole month of April, Warren Street will be closed to through traffic. If you live on Warren Street, you get mail delivered to Warren Street, they'll get through, but no through traffic. When we do the work, what's gonna happen is the contractor is gonna come out first and they're gonna put all this temporary pipe along the side of the road, along the sidewalk. Looks like hose, garden hose. It'll be a little more rigid than that. Once they do that, they're gonna come around and hook your homes up to the temporary water. Then they're gonna go in and replace the main in Warren Street. That's gonna take them probably a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. They say they're faster than that, but we'll see how fast they actually go. So they'll replace the main, probably starting from Liberty and heading back to the intersection. Once the main in the road is done, they're gonna come back and connect your services to the new main once it's tested and chlorinated, and then take the temporary way. So that whole process, we estimate it's gonna take anywhere between 4 to 5 weeks. During the time they're working, no one should be out of water except when we connect you to the temporary and take you off the temporary. Our inspectors will work with the individuals to find out when you leave, when you come home, if anyone's, if you have any special equipment, any equipment that needs continuous water, please let us know in advance so we can make arrangements. We typically try and do this when you're not at home. And they'll keep in touch with you, if anything comes up during that work. They tend to go seamless. A few things you have to be a little concerned about is we're a little concerned with temperatures right now. So we're gonna wait a little while, hopefully it warms up. If we get some really cold nights, maybe in May, 1 or 2 cold nights, we may ask you, or in April, we may ask you to keep your water running a little bit, but hopefully that won't be an issue. The other thing is with the temporary hoses, keep your eyes out, we try not to have any vandalism with them. This is a rigid pipe, so if you hit it, it's not gonna break, but, we don't want people out there with hammers or knives trying to cut it, because it's not funny when you cut the temporary, because everyone attached to it is gonna lose water. So, next we're gonna move to North Fruit Street. North Fruit Street has a few less residents in between Woodman and Pleasant Street, but we have a lot of high school activity going on. So the plan to minimize disruption both to the bus traffic and the daycare and the gas station and the residents on the north end is during April vacation, we're gonna have the contractor, if we can work it into the schedule, they're gonna come out and they're gonna definitely get this section done here in front of the gas station and the daycare. And then the residential section up here, they're gonna try and get the main done, all the temporary hooked up, so that when the kids come back to school, if we have to shut this centerpiece down, we can still run the detours, and so the buses will be coming in through the north while we're working on this section. And this section here is basically from the first week in May until Memorial Day. We have it about 3 weeks that will be shut down. Maybe less, but we're gonna say about 3 weeks. Rob's gonna get into detail about what happens when this is shut down, but for the most part, all the bus traffic, accessing the school, coming to the school, leaving the school, is gonna come in through the northern part of North Fruit to Woodman and out Westbourne to school. So we're gonna have a one-way operation going north of the school. Once we finish that, we're going to move on to Kensington Street. Kensington Street is going to have a lot less impact on the school. It'll have impact on the residents, but it'll be a little more seamless. We have that scheduled only about 2.5 weeks, same thing. You'll be hooked up to temporary, you'll get working on the main, they'll hook up your services, and then we'll leave. Throughout those 3 streets, we will be adding a few additional hydrants. There'll also be some temporary hydrants you may see. Those are put in mostly to assist the fire department if anything happens where they need access to water. During this work, they have a few extra hydrants they can tap off of. Other than that, really, if everything goes as planned, we shouldn't really lose. No one should really be out of water, and we shouldn't really see any dirty water at all. But if anything's going to come up during the process, one of our inspectors will come and leave a tag on your door or come knock on your door and let you know something's going to happen. What I want to let you all know, if something does happen, if for some reason the temporary main breaks or something happens so that we lose water on the street during construction, please don't run out and try and talk to the inspector, because he's going to be trying to figure out what's going on. If something happens, you don't have water and no one has water, something happened to the main line, and we'll get it fixed as soon as possible, and within a couple hours you'll know what's going on. But try not to call the inspectors the minute you don't have water. Feel free to call me anytime and I can update you, but they'll probably be busy working with the contractor to get you back online. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rob, and he's going to kind of go through what's going to happen with the traffic. Steve, did you have?
One other thing is we'll be passing out notices before we connect you to the temporary water. There'll be a 24-hour line we call, so say on a Saturday or after work hours you're out of water, you can call and someone should be there in about 15 minutes to come address any sort of issue. All right? If there are hours after issues after hours, we'll have someone. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Move it up. That's not bad. That's good. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? I'll try. We're not going to be closing and working on all these streets at the same time. This plan gives kind of a general overview of what we'll be doing with traffic. We have 2 kinds of things. The first thing is that just about all the work is going to be done during the daytime and at nighttime. So during the daytime, we're going to have, there might be some one-way streets, there may be some detours, streets will be closed, local traffic only, but then when the contractor's done every night, okay, all the signs will get turned to the side, and the street, the traffic signal, everything will go back to the way it used to be. That'll be during the night, and then in the morning they'll reset things up. So the street closures are in yellow on here. As Martha said, this will be the first one done here, Warren Street. When that's done, we'll be closing North Fruit and working on that, hopefully during the holiday. And then Kensington will be later on, a little by itself. So there will be, one street will be closed, and we'll be able to use the other streets, and we'll work that out, as we move along. I'm going to talk first about the street operation in general. Then I'll talk about the school. A little bit different. The school, we're going to try to set up a pattern and not change it every couple of weeks because of the huge crunches of traffic and everybody coming in with the buses. So the school's going to be a little different. We're going to try to do the same thing when the construction starts in March or April. We're going to go all the way through to the end of the, kind of the end of the season with it. So everybody knows what to expect every morning. So We'll start off on Warren Street. Warren Street's going to be closed during the day. We're going to set up the detour. People are going to have to come down Liberty Street, make a turn over here, and come through the light this way. We'll see how things go, but we may have, during the busy crunch times, there may be a flag person over here to make sure people get in and out at the key intersections. Some busy driveways, maybe we'll have flaggers out there to make sure that things are moving along. We'll probably have a traffic officer here, especially during the peak times, to control traffic at the light. We'll put it on flashing, and he'll have to do it by hand during those times. That includes getting the kids across the street and whatever. So we need to override the traffic signal during the day. So we've got this detour. During this little detour, we're going to have temporary no parking signs, no parking, no standing, no stopping. Some of these key areas, we don't want people to stop or to wait to pick kids up. They're kind of critical areas. One of them is on Liberty Street here. This little chunk between Warren and Pleasant Street is a lot narrower than the rest of Liberty Street. So while it's no parking, during school hours, we're going to have to mean absolutely no parking, period, during the working hours. Because with the extra traffic that we're going to be detouring on here, one car is going to plug up the road if it parks. So we'll need to keep that open. Up in when we're done with Warren Street, and then we do the North Fruit Street closure, the detour here will go, and the traffic light probably be able to go by itself during working hours. So it'll be kind of traffic as usual in that case during the working hours. So that's kind of how we'll work there. Up in the area of the high school, Martha talked about this. During the day, we're going to have a little one-way loop here in and out of School Street. We need to keep it one way, and here also there will be no parking, no standing, no stopping, no waiting. So we're going to have a lot of traffic through there. All the buses are going to be making this loop, and they turn real wide. So it just takes one car parked on a corner, and then there's a gridlock. And then the next schools, the buses are late. It's like a domino effect. So we need to be very careful during the morning and the afternoon to make sure to get the buses in and the buses out. And then during the day, if parents need to come to the school for visits or whatever, it's still going to be a one-way pattern. You'll come in this way. You can come into the parking lot or whatever you need to do, and it'll be one way out. It'll be back to two-way then during the evenings. Pedestrians, kids walking to school, and pedestrians, all the heavy work is going to be on the south side of the road over here, the water work. So the sidewalk on the north side of Warren Street, all along here up Washington, and then the sidewalk on the north side of Warren Street here, that'll be the places, the contractor, we'll make sure that that's available, put up some flagging or something to keep kids from going off through the work area. But that'll be the walking routes. It'll be that north side of Warren, Washington over here. We're also going to maintain a little walkthrough through the work area here. So the Concord High School parking lot, you'll be able to walk down that little path there by the brook and then get into the parking lot that way.
Can we get to our driveways during the working time on Warren Street?
Driveway access, the contractor's going to maintain access to everybody's, while they're working there. They'll work that out with you. There are issues, you can talk with the field people.
Because everyone works different hours.
Yeah.
Like I get home at 3:30,
Yeah.
so I'm right in the middle of the
They'll work something out. This is kind of like what we did on Loudon Road the last couple of years doing the water main work. All the businesses were open, and they plated things over. They kind of worked with the businesses. If you have something going on, you need to be home, or if a business has got a delivery or something special, or a truck coming, a little advance notice, and I'm sure the contractor and the staff will work with you to make sure that everything
Good.
goes.
Thank you.
So, let's see, the Concord High School parking lot. This driveway over here is going to be closed for the whole time, for the next month or whatever. while Warren Street's being worked on, the existing driveway. And there's an existing gated driveway right down here on Pleasant Street. That's going to be a one-way in to the lot, okay? And General Service is going to make a little temporary exit right over here, a little paved exit, and that'll be the exit back on to Pleasant Street. So we've got this one down here for the exit because we've got a little better sight line way down over here that we don't have at this other driveway. During the big crunch time, the morning might be okay, but I know during the afternoon when this lot dumps out, we're probably going to have a flag person right over here to help get people out, out on the Pleasant Street. So lift the, drag it up a little bit. That's good.
So students are being notified.
Yes. Yes, I've heard.
The other thing too is especially when Warren Street is closed, that's going to be typical for most of this work, even with the one-way. So we don't want standing and stopping, cars waiting, in certain areas because it's just so busy. There's going to be the drop-off and pickup areas are going to be in the morning. There's not a lot going on in Memorial Field, so we're asking that if there's drop-offs of students, by cars and stuff, that it happens in Memorial Field, to come in, do the drop-off, then the kids can walk up the sidewalk and the officer will cross them at the light, okay? And then during the afternoon, there's a little more activity over here, so the school district prefers that during the afternoon that people drive down and park in there's a big wide shoulder. Parking, it's about 10 feet wide. All the way down here, there's plenty of space. You could just pull in over there, pick the student up, and then head off this way. Traffic is going to be, when it gets busy out here, it's going to be kind of intense. So anything we can do to get people through it and then drive away from the intersection, that'll help everybody. So I think I cover all the. I think I got all the main stuff.
I just want to touch on Westbourne, that also is going to be closed during.
Oh, okay, yeah. I go down to the first section there. Okay. Yeah, so we're not doing any work down here. Westbourne, you won't be able to get in or out over here. So while Warren Street's closed, we're going to close this chunk of Westbourne off. So you can go through the little parking lot and then come back out, the little one-way loop here. But this area over here, we make available for the school, if they want to park, teachers there, or do something, during the day. People could, there's a lot of room out there. There'd be a supplemental parking area, and let the school take care of that. Oh, and during busy times, like in the morning when everybody's coming to school, we've got buses and, maybe parents are coming with, maybe to drop off kids. Teachers will be coming to school. We still need to do this one-way thing. The drop-offs and pickoffs we'd like somewhere else, but we're going to have, teachers, staff. There's going to be a lot of folks that need to get into the parking area here. So Matt will be working this out with the high school folks, but they're talking about maybe making a little placard type of system, a little colored piece of paper or something. People that need to come in here will have a little something, in their windshield. So we'll have some flaggers up here, and those people will be allowed to come in, and other people, will be. We're just trying to keep too many people from coming in. They'll be sent off to the drop-off pickup area. So that'll be something that the school will work on. Sir.
I think you mentioned that the gate that we currently use to go into the parking lot will be closed.
No, this
Warren
gate.
Street.
Oh, Pleasant Street,
Warren Street.
the Warren Street, the
I'm right
parking.
on the corner. Can I park in the parking lot?
This is going to be closed off right here at Warren Street. There won't be.
Where the
Yes.
house right there.
How am I going to get out of Warren Street?
We could maybe after the meeting, let's take a look at the detailed plan. We'll talk about it. So, any other questions? Sir,
Any thought to drop off north of the school?
pardon me?
An official way to drop off north of the school, drop off and pick up
The two here on South Fruit are that's recommended by the school. Yeah.
I'm one of them, but some number of people will have to work their way all the way down there and then come back out.
It would be. There's other roads. I imagine some folks are gonna, find some other place. But there are certain areas where we definitely don't want that to happen. It's on that, right up on School Street, and then that little one-way loop. So.
If we avoid the congestion, we'll be happy.
If you avoid the congestion, you'll be happy.
But we're not. So you're talking. I don't want to be. Can't think of the right word. I don't want to be antagonistic, but I'm not trying to be, because it sounds like there's an awful lot of thought given to manipulating traffic and placards so people can get into the right place. If I swing down School Street or something like that, pull over, let my kid out and drive away, that's not going to be a problem.
If it backs up traffic, it'll be a problem. If not,
Just slow down, she jumps out.
yeah.
That's what we do on the morning right now.
It's usually probably not, the morning's probably not that bad. What's more, typically what happens at schools is, in the afternoon, from 10 to 15 minutes, people will come and sit, on the edge of the road, and wait to pick somebody up. And you accumulate 50 cars like that. So that's really important to kind of move that a little away from the school while that happens. So, but again, people will find out their own way to do it. The official way is probably the best way, is what the school's recommended over here. So, but we will have some of these areas here, and this coming along Liberty Street here. It's kind of important. So we'll have police officers out there if we need to keep things going, keep things open. So. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Jim Major?
Can you throw up the first map you had for the water? What about that with I'm Highway Utility Superintendent. We're going to do the road work. This first year we've done this, so bear with us as we go through this. We're looking at it as being one construction season for disruption versus two. Typically the water line would come in and they do their work and we come back a year later. So we're trying something different. We're going to try to take care of it all in one season. So there'll be a little bit of aggravation, there'll be a little bit of frustration maybe, but we've got some good contractors on board and I think we'll do a good job and work with everybody too. I guess that's the biggest thing to remember out of this whole thing. We'll work with you. If you have an issue, make sure you talk to somebody. And we'll come out and make sure somebody visits you and make sure we get things squared away. As far as the roads that will be done this year, we're following the water line. So as soon as they get off Warren Street on May 4th or thereabouts, we'll come in the week afterwards and we'll be reclaiming and paving Warren Street. So what that's going to include is we're going to come in, we'll grind the road up, we'll grade it, we'll get a base pavement down. Then we're going to come in and we're going to remove all the curbing, so that we can reset it. We're going to remove all the sidewalks so that we can regrade and repave all those sidewalks as well. So everything from Liberty Street all the way back down here to Pleasant Street will be repaved this summer. With the curbing, we're going to raise it up. Right now there's a lot of places where it doesn't have very much reveal, so we're going to get it back up to a standard reveal of about 7 or 8 inches. So that it will help with some drainage and it will also help with separating the road from the sidewalk and the edge of the street. So we'll do this street. It'll probably take us into the first or middle part of June. And then as soon as they're off Fruit Street, we're going to come on to Fruit Street and come on to there as well. So we'll do the same thing up on Fruit Street. And the same thing once they get off at Kensington, we'll come back behind them on Kensington Street. So that same process will happen on each of the streets. I think everybody received a letter talking about curbing. I believe Warren Street is fully curbed, so there's no reason for anybody to participate in the curb cost sharing. There is some curbing here, but I don't think there is out here. So if folks are interested, we have a program where if you pay for the curbing, the city will install it as part of this project. So it kind of basically cuts the cost in half, and it's done as we're doing the project. It comes out a little bit better. So We'll offer that to anybody on Fruit in Kensington as well. Okay? Yes, sir.
And you mentioned something about dropping the drains.
Dropping the drain?
That's going to be done too at the same time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, well, you mean, drop, lower it?
Everything was on a sheet of paper, dropping.
Yeah, what happens is, in order to reclaim the road, you come through, you take out the grates and the frames that you can see, lower them down, so then they come through and they'll grind it. Once they grind it, then we raise those back up to grade. Yeah, yep, those will be put back up to grade. Okay? So, yes.
I used to live on Kensington years ago.
Yep.
And it doesn't have curbs on either side of it. From the notice of this particular meeting, I didn't see any mention of this cost-sharing option that you're describing. Are you going to write to this, specifically the owners on the section of Fruit Street in Kensington about that program?
I thought the packet had several notices in it, and I thought in the packet, it was the last thing in there, it had a sheet of paper talking about the cost share program, but
Okay.
after the meeting, if you come on over.
Maybe I didn't notice it, or maybe because I live on School Street, I didn't get that insert. I don't know.
No, we sent the same packet to everybody. You get the map and everything?
Yep.
The map and then the water, yeah, so
Okay.
maybe on the back of one of them, but if not, just stop over and see Fred after the meeting.
I'm not affected by it. I just wanted to make sure that people got
Yeah.
proper notice of that.
Okay, thank you. And then one other thing is the goal of starting this work now is to get this, affect everybody kind of before school start, don't affect school on both ends. So we're going to affect school this spring. Our goal, not our goal, we will be out of here before school starts in the fall. We've got a pretty strict deadline, so August 20th, I believe, is the deadline date. We'll be off of these two streets for sure. We won't be in here at all. Is there a chance we'll be out on Kensington? Maybe. But these two streets here will need to be done by August 20th. We'll be out of it. So that the school, when they come back in the fall, they're right back to where they are today. Okay? And the one last thing is the gas company is out working out here as well. They have work to do in School Street, up in this intersection up here, but they're not going to be coming in to do that work until school is out. I'm not sure exactly when it is, sometime late June. So probably July, August, they'll be in here taking care of some work as well. So the gas company will be kind of around the area.
Is the gas company going to be working all those yellow sections?
That's where the gas company is, yep. They'll be working on all those streets throughout the summer. Yep. Exactly.
Sir, in the mailing about the paving, excuse me, about the curbing.
Yep.
Now, if I don't opt to have curbing done in front of my house,
Yep.
will they still loan and seed? Because
Yep.
it's a mess right now
Yep.
in my house.
To be quite honest with you, on Kensington Street, whoever opts for curbing will put the curbing in. If they don't, we're going to end up putting in an asphalt berm to kind of control that water a little bit better so it doesn't do any erosion on the sides of the roads. So we're looking at two options as we go up that street to kind of contain
I'm
that.
on North Fruit.
Yep, but yeah, so.
Down there, same
yep.
thing.
Yep, North Fruit would be the same thing, yeah. We won't put any berm on Fruit because it's flat, but we will put either shoulders or reloam and seed the sides of the road when we're done.
Whether I have curbing or not.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
And
Yes.
and we're on Minot, we're on the corner of Minot and Mayor Pond, and we get a lot of water down,
Yep.
coming down the hill there, across Minot. and
Right.
a lot of
We're not
water.
on Minot this summer. We won't be doing any paving on Minot. We're only paving North Fruit, Kensington, and Warren Street this year. Next year. I'm pretty sure Minot is next year. Next year, we're paving Minot Street, so we'll be back up around the height one more time. It'll be two years, but. Yeah, so. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of streets that are a mess, there's no doubt about it. And this is a tough time of year as well, so. Yes, ma'am.
So once Warren is done, is Liberty still being used as a bypass or not?
It will, but I should have started with that. Once the water work is done, we will not close a street to any traffic. What happens when the road work comes, because we're not digging a trench, we're just on the surface, there'll be alternating traffic on that road. So the contractor will be working and they'll have flaggers and they'll be letting traffic go alternating one way, you know what I'm saying? So this street won't be closed once the water line gets done. We've kind of talked to the fire department and stuff, and emergency traffic will probably come around just because it'll be a little bit smoother for them. But as far as the complete road closure of these streets, that won't happen when we're doing the road work. You'll have one lane, one side of the road or the other, traffic will flow by. And Same thing on Fruit and the same thing on Kensington. We're doing the road work, we allow the one-way alternating traffic. Yes, ma'am.
So I understand the yellow lines are going to be paid the following year, or is that just the gap?
Yes, except for Park Ridge Road and Ridge. I'm not sure if these are the next year or not, but I know Westbourne is next year, Woodman, School, Minot, and I figured if this is Highland or not, I think that may be Highland. I think
It's
we
actually going
finish
to
up.
extend like all of Woodman,
Yeah.
all of Minot.
Yep. Yep. Yes, it will.
Is that project next year going to also be doing the water mains?
Yes.
In
Yep.
those?
Not every street next year has water main, but yes, you have to follow the same
So
thing.
this year it's just going to be dig a trench for the gas line and then cover it back over, and then next year
Right.
do the
Yep.
water.
The
and-
gas
and
company will
repaving.
do a temporary patch this summer so that there will be pavement all through the winter. And then next year we'll come in and the water line will go in and we'll put the school through the road afterwards. One other, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Westbourne Road.
Yeah.
Is it going to be done entirely?
Not this summer, but next summer. Yep, the whole thing. We'll do Westbourne Road from Warren Street all the way out to the dead end next summer. We got one more year we have to nurse it together. Yes, sir.
What are we going to do for a base? Because about 15 years ago, my next door neighbor on Warren Street, her car dropped into a hole. I know it's been fixed, but,
Yep.
you know, the traffic is a lot heavier than it used to be
Yep.
years ago.
Yep. We're going to use the pavement that's there as the base. That's why we grind it up. We leave it there, grind it up in place, regrade it, and pave on top of it so that the pavement that's there becomes part of that gravel base that to strengthen up that road. It could have been something that had a broken drain line that was broken. You know, there's a lot of different things that happen when you have a sinkhole. You know, something could have broken apart, or you know, the connection to the manhole could have failed, or something like that. And allow the street to go. The last thing I'll talk about is out on Warren Street. On Warren Street, we've talked to the school department about it, and this has probably been in the works for what, 5 years, 6 years? Yeah, it's been a while. So on Warren Street, this is Warren Street, this is the school. There's 3 crosswalks right now. This is like the turnaround that they drop kids off crosswalk. There's a crosswalk down here. Just testing me or what? And there's a crosswalk that goes over to the old pizza shop, and then there's one down at Westbourne. With the school kids coming out, what we're trying to do is contain them into a couple of crosswalks, major crosswalks, and kind of do some modifications, some minor modifications. And having the road work being done and resetting all the curb is a perfect opportunity to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, and at Westbourne there'll be a couple of small bump outs that'll come in, and this crosswalk will remain. And then the curb will be reset to the way it was. We're going to get rid of this crosswalk. And then up here where the big circle is, they're going to do a bump out there as well. And this little hashed areas, we're going to remove the pavement. So basically this will become, it'll be an emergency access because this bump out will be made out of slope granite curbs, so an ambulance or police or anybody can mount this, but it won't be a place for dropping students off. And they're also going to get rid of this sidewalk so they don't lead them down to here. And the school is going to install a fence to kind of help corral the kids, and that's what this black line here is. So, as part of this project, we talked to the school. We think it's a good thing to do to try to contain people, the kids, to try to keep them into a couple of certain areas, and we think it's going to work pretty well. So that'll be the one major change that you'll see on Warren Street. It really won't affect traffic. It'll make it a little bit safer for kids to cross. It'll be a shorter distance when we put those bump outs out, and hopefully it'll work a lot better. But that's the one change you'll see. Other than that, the streets will pretty much go back to the way they were. Okay? With that, I'll open it up to questions on any parts of the project, whether it be water or the road work. And if you don't have any questions, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to come out tonight. Feel free to come on up. There's my headset before. Well, does anybody have any specific questions they want to, before we kind of break up, I guess? Everybody's all set? Yes, sir.
Who's the contractor that's going to do the work?
there's two different contractors. The water line is gonna be done by N. Grenice in Summers, and then the pavement work is gonna be done by GMI Asphalt. Okay?
I'm having my driveway done this spring,
Okay.
right across from the school.
Where is your driveway? Warren?
Westport.
Oh, Westbourne, okay, yeah, all right.
What is that, like that?
I know. If you can wait a year, we'll work with you, and we'll take care of the
I
end
went
of
to
it.
you people 10 years ago and asked, when are you gonna do the driveway, cross keys in front of my driveway, so on? We're gonna do it in 2015. So I patiently waited.
Yeah.
I'm still patiently waiting.
Okay. Appreciate your patience anyway. Okay, well, thanks again, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate, and it was a sign-in sheet. Please make sure you sign in, that would be great.